over the weekend, an article was published in the New York Post, um, which described the city of New York buying bus tickets for illegal migrants to ship them up to the northern border and allowing them to cross at the infamous Roxham Road border crossing. Moreover, these tickets were being distributed by the soldiers from the National Guard. So government soldiers.
Yeah. Approved by the local authority, we must say it,
Yeah. All of this is based off of testimony, interviews with the migrants themselves that said they received these tickets from the National Guard. The city of New York has denied these allegations. Spokespeople from the city have denied it, but it seems to have happened based off of testimony. So what do you think about this story? I think it's kind of ridiculous. And what should the response be from our federal government?
It is very sad, that is showing everybody that, we don't have any borders in Canada. Everybody can come. And, the U.S. Authority over there in New York, they decided they don't want these migrants. They are saying to them, you just pass to the U.S. and go. Your final destination must be Canada. And actually, if you look at last year, we had, as you may know, 35,000 people who crossed that border illegally. And more people will come. And I don't understand why we are not solving that problem. Trudeau and Poilievre are saying we cannot do anything. We need to renegotiate an agreement with the U.S. And the third safe country agreement. We need to renegotiate that. That agreement is very simple. If you cross the border at an official point of entry, and you are saying that you are a refugee, we have the right to tell you, no, you're coming from a safe country, the U.S. Your life is not in danger in the U.S., so you have to go back to the U.S. But if you cross at an unofficial point of entry, like the Roxham Road, supposedly we cannot say that. We need to keep them and say, yes, welcome. But actually, Daniel, during COVID-19 in March 2020, Canada closed the Roxham Road because it was too dangerous for us and the virus was very dangerous. So Trudeau didn't want anybody to come to Canada and he closed that road. And he said to migrants that tried to cross in March 2020, no, you cannot. And they had to go back to the U.S. We can do that. That's the solution. Let's put a fence and having our people, no, you cannot cross the border. That road is closed. If you want to enter in our country, go to the official point of entry like everybody. We can do it. We don't have to wait to have a new agreement. We are a sovereign country, so we can solve that problem as soon as possible if we have the political will to do it. But we don't have that in Canada. We cannot count on the official opposition to do it, on Pierre Poilievre to do it. And it's sad. 35,000 people. Next year, it can be 50,000 people.
Yeah, it's just been increasing year over year. And those aren't even included in the immigration statistics, right?
No,
we talked on the last show about how we hit that record 435,000 people, plus another 35,000 illegal immigrants.
Absolutely. So it's you have these illegal immigrants, 35,000. You have the official immigration last year was 465,000. You have also all the students, foreign students that are coming. They are not in the numbers. You have also the permanent resident and the non-permanent residents. All these people need a roof. So when they're coming here, it's about maybe 1 million people last year that we had. 1 million people, they need a roof. And what is happening? Housing crisis. The prices is going high. It's at the roof for houses in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, but only for renting. If you want to rent, all these people need to sleep somewhere.
Average rental prices in Toronto, I believe, are $2,000 a month.
That's it. So if you want to solve that, and also, we just spoke about the healthcare crisis. So an easy way to help to solve all these challenges that we have, it's sustainable immigration. 1 million people 465,000 last year, about 500,000 people coming illegally and staying in Canada. So it was about 1 million last year, which when we are a country of 38 million people, that's mass immigration. It's not sustainable. And we can see it right now with our healthcare system that is broken, education system. They will need to have education also. And we must stop that.
Yeah.
We cannot have mass immigration for another 10 years. And actually, the good news is in Europe. These European countries opened their borders for migrants and all that, and they had a lot, but they had the negative effect of mass immigration. There's places where it's a no-go zone. You cannot go there. And now some politicians in Europe are saying, maybe we must rethink our immigration policy. Maybe mass immigration is not the solution. They are thinking about that. So we must do the same right now before having the problem that they had. So let's have that discussion right now about mass immigration. So mass immigration has an impact on healthcare, housing, renting, and our social services.
Yeah.
We cannot every year having 500,000 people legal immigration. And after that, maybe another 500,000 that are coming, and they will maybe be a day Canadian. But also there's the other program, Daniel. Trudeau created a program for Ukrainians. They can come. They are not part of the official number. And we had 130,000 of them that came last year. They came under another program. They're not immigrant. They're not refugee. So all these people are coming here, and a day they will be Canadian. For sure.
Yep.
So we received 130,000 of Ukrainians last year. And this year, the number is about 300,000. 300,000 people coming. So you had 300,000, 400,000 immigrants, plus the students, plus it's about 1 million people that will be in Canada again next year.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, there's so many negative impacts that you just listed on all the different aspects of Canadian society, and yet they keep coming in, and they continue to increase the numbers. The official numbers, these refugee numbers,
Yeah.
Informal, temporary foreign workers, all the different categories that you mentioned.
And you have the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, is saying, I have an idea for the housing crisis in Canada. And yes, but it's not immigration.
Yeah.
It's not immigration. I must interfere in provincial jurisdictions to try to have more supply and changing the zoning in cities. It's provincial jurisdiction. Who you are to tell a mayor in Toronto or in Vancouver what to do, or the premier in Quebec or Vancouver or BC what to do. The real solution, and Pierre Poilievre doesn't want to speak about the real solution because he's pandering with the new immigrants.
Yeah.
He wants to have their votes in some ridings near Toronto to be able to win.
Yeah.
The only goal of Pierre Poilievre, the career politician, he was elected at 24 years old, and after 20 years old in Parliament, his goal is to be Prime Minister. And to be Prime Minister, he will pander, and that's what he's doing, and he won't have the real policy to fix our system.
Yeah.
So to fix the housing crisis is immigration first. We must stop mass immigration. But Poilievre won't say that because it's not popular in certain ridings near the GTA that he wants to win.
Yeah. On one side, you have Justin Trudeau pretty much stacking the deck, right?
Yeah.
He's no matter all the negative impacts that you just described that immigration has on Canadian society, he keeps bringing them in, and they're just secured voters. How is a Ukrainian refugee not going to vote for the guy that brought him into the country, right?
Yeah.
How are these
illegal migrants? Yeah.
Sure, once they're able to vote, or even the people who come in through family reunification and stuff like this, like, of course they're going to continue to support the guy that wants to bring in their aunts and their cousins and so on. So Pierre's doubling down in the same area, so we're both pro immigration, just like how he had nothing to say on healthcare.
Yeah.
Right? No, we agree with Justin Trudeau on that. He's so scared that the mainstream media will talk about how he's a scary conservative that just wants to cut things, so he won't touch it. Right? He's too scared of the mainstream media. He's pandering, just like Justin Trudeau on immigration.
That's why step by step we are seeing the real Pierre Poilievre, and we'll see his electoral platform maybe a month or two before the election, and it would be like the Liberals and Liberal light. But now we can, on immigration he won't do anything. On mass immigration, for him is okay with that. The war in Ukraine, another subject that is 100% with the government, and we are the only party that is for peace and prosperity and a diplomatic solution. I can go on not balancing the budget. On inflation, he doesn't have the solution. He said he's okay with the 2% target. As you know, Daniel, the Bank of Canada has a 2% target inflation every year. But for the last 10 years, 2% every year. Since 2012 to 2022, we had 25% inflation. So what Pierre Poilievre is telling you, the next 10 years, I want to have 25% inflation. You had 25% inflation before, and I want the Bank of Canada will keep that inflation target of 2%. I want the Bank of Canada to create 2% inflation every year for the next 10 years. So you will have 25%. Your purchasing power is going down. That's Pierre Poilievre, the fight against inflation. It's a joke. It's a joke.
To just go back to the original story, the New York sending up illegal migrants, I just find it absurd that none of our politicians have said anything about this. Justin Trudeau hasn't said anything. They're flowing into Quebec. Francois Legault, I don't think he said anything about this. Like it's absolutely absurd. Like they're like you talk that the politicians don't have the fortitude to stand up for this. Like they're just taking advantage of us at this point. Like they know we're not going to do anything about this border crossing. So the folks in New York State are just like, we could spend money taking care of these migrants, or we could just spend money on a bus ticket.
Yeah, imagine you're an official in New York and you see all these, because as you know, the federal government in US also doesn't want to solve the problem with the Mexican border. So all these people are coming from Mexico and after that to New York, and you're an official in the state of New York. You tell me, oh yeah, you will come in New York for 2 days and this is a free ticket. And so bang, all these people are coming to Canada. So the 35,000 that we had last year, I'm pretty sure that it may double this year. And we are
there's a snowballing effect because they're all sharing it on social media. Oh, I went to New York, I got a bus ticket, I crossed a free
bus ticket.
Exactly. I crossed a Roxham Road. That's the path, guys. They post on TikTok.
And I had the RCMP officer that was helping me with my luggages. They were very kind to me and blah blah.
It's not difficult. Like the same RCMP officers start turning people back, and that'll be shared on social media. But it's not viable anymore. Or maybe even our politicians could stand up and say, excuse me, Mayor of New York, this is not acceptable. You're facilitating illegal behavior and stop immediately, instead of just ignoring it and allowing the problem to continue. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
It is. And Poilievre or I don't know, Trudeau, Poilievre must push Trudeau during the question period. He has Trudeau in front of him, so why not asking him the question about that? But he won't. Because he's afraid, they're
going to call him racist.
Like they did to me in 2019. But when you know that you're not a racist, you must not be afraid of that. That's not true. And you push your ideas, but you won't do anything. So it's a shame. It's disgraceful. These people in New York are telling people, inciting people to break the law. To enter illegally in our country. That's what they're doing.
It's absolutely absurd. On a slightly focused topic, I needed to mention this. We were talking a bit earlier about how the true solution from the federal level is to attack the demand side of this immigration problem. This is how we'll address the housing crisis. There was a great article published in The Hub over the weekend by John Passalis.
Hi, John. I don't know. I believe that you took time to read our platform. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
John. But also, go ahead.
Yeah.
What he said.
So John, it's a great article. I recommend anyone reads this. He goes through and he explains how much of the conversation around housing has been too focused on the supply side about zoning laws, when really the issue is the demand side, immigration. So you retweeted this article earlier this week because it's a great article.
Yeah.
You told people to check it out, and John retweeted you and basically disavowed you. Look at, like, he said, we do need immigration, just less. And he includes this picture of the say no to mass immigration billboards from
Mass
2019.
immigration, John, is less, like you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the same thing.
So he's saying he doesn't agree with saying no to mass immigration, but he just wants less immigration to Canada, which would mean he's saying no to mass immigration. I found it particularly funny because there was a section of John's article about how it's a politically sensitive issue and people get their backs up really easily, and we need to be a bit more bold. But as soon as the only bold politician that's willing to talk about the demand side issue says, thanks, John, good article, he says, oh, well, I don't want to be affiliated with you. It's too politically sensitive. It's just absurd.
Yeah.
John, we're friends, not foes.
Yeah.
We got to agree to
but
work together.
have the courage of your conviction. You had it, you wrote about it. And yes, I said the same thing in 2019, and that's part of our platform. So yes, if you follow your thinking, at the next general election, the only party that will be able to vote, if the most important issue is immigration, it will be the People's Party.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, John, but you're against mass immigration. It's right there. It's right there in writing.